Chris? Chris!
I'm here.
Oh, man.
Yeah, can you believe we're like buried in snow today?
We just got over a half snow, half ice storm here in the DC area.
Yeah, walloped.
Yeah.
Almost like an avalanche, you might say.
Very much like an avalanche.
That reminds me of a certain movie, actually.
Wait, is it called Avalanche?
It is. Imaginative title.
Good guess.
So yeah, we're going to talk about the movie Avalanche from 1978, produced by Roger Corman.
On this episode of The Junkyard. Welcome back to The Junkyard. This special on location.
We're actually outside. We're not in a basement.
No. And as you can see, we have boulders of snow from an avalanche.
We had to dig our way out.
I just want to be part of this whole fantastic thing going on here.
The first thing about this movie, you have to mention, it is kind of like Love Boat in a hotel.
It's very, very Love Boat-esque, yes. The titular avalanche doesn't actually happen until like 56 minutes into the movie.
Way late.
Yeah. So you've got a lot of like setup that then goes nowhere.
Yeah. We have to talk about how popular just disaster movies were in the 70s. That decade for
some reason. And they ranged from like giant, big budget blockbusters starring A-list actors to cheap cash grabs like the one we're going to talk about today.
And I was sort of blown away by the number. I mean, obviously you got all the airport disaster movies.
There are a bunch of those, yeah.
There's things like Disaster on the Coastliner, Earthquake everyone's heard about. There's a movie called Fire. You know, the Hindenburg, Heat Wave. There were 2 hurricane movies.
2? Well, 2. I know one has Mia Farrow, who's also in the movie we're about to talk about.
Okay, yeah, they did one in 1974, but then they did one also called Hurricane. That's it. Meteor.
The Poseidon Adventure was a big one.
There was a movie called Orca in 1977. I wonder why that was made around then.
Yeah, I wonder what spurred that. I think probably the biggest one was the Towering Inferno.
That's a big one.
That was a big one.
That's on here. Roller Coaster, Skyjacked. And you might remember The Swarm.
I do remember The Swarm. Yes. Killer Bees.
There's a lot more.
Yeah.
But this movie felt, like it was, okay, we have this formula down. We have the machine.
But this one was a total cash grab. We should mention that it was produced by Roger Corman, king of the B movies, who died a couple years ago. He knew how to capitalize on popular movies, almost sometimes ripping them off and remaking them.
Yep.
Todd, are you there?
Chris?
I'm here.
Yeah, and the formula that I'm getting at is, let's throw a few names that people would know. You're going to meet these different groups of people, and then they're going to be in a situation when the disaster kind of hits.
So that's where the Love Boat-esque quality comes in. A bunch of B-listers and has-beens like Rock Hudson, Mia Farrow, and just a bunch of actors who you don't know by name, but you recognize from 70s and 80s TV.
That's showbiz.
And they check into this, 70s ski resort that's just about to open. And Rock Hudson is basically, he's kind of like the Murray Hamilton character from Jaws. Greedy. It's a brand new ski resort, and he wants it open.
This morning, some snot-nosed reporters started asking about Maybrook and the clearance of the land, and I don't like it. Well, it could mean a lot. I want you to get on that plane with the file and be up here by tomorrow night.
He is the capitalist.
Fuck snowpacks.
Fuck safety. What are the shortcuts? And how much money can I make? Yeah, that was his very one-dimensional character.
And Mia Farrow plays his ex-wife who comes to the grand opening of this for some reason. She can't stand him. We have no idea why she's here, but she is.
They don't define the character relationships.
She's really boring. She sleepwalks through this entire movie.
Kind of phoning it in. You do have Robert Forster.
Robert Forster, young Robert Forster, plays a nature photographer who also, for some reason, takes it upon himself to badger everybody about the building snowpack on the mountain.
Was Robert Forster, was he a name in the, did he have a successful decade in the 70s?
I think he was known for solid B movies. Remember, he's in The Black Hole at Disney.
Oh, yeah. The other thing I was going to mention was you have these really one-dimensional, cheesy side characters. The skier,
yeah, who looks like Wes Anderson.
Yep.
He's like this hot shot, and he's sleeping with all the ladies at the ski resort.
But there's this one dumb drunk lady
who's obsessed with him. She's married to the TV guy.
And he's very almost forgettable.
It's so confusing. A lot of like the relationships in this movie. And then there's also Rock Hudson's mother.
Yeah.
She's played by Jeanette Nolan. I remember mostly she's in a really good Columbo episode where Martin Landau played twins who are the killers, and she's like their
We saw that.
housekeeper.
Yeah.
And Columbo annoys the shit out of her throughout the entire episode.
Bum! You're a bum! Putting your stinking cigar butt in this silver antique dish! Do you see this?
I thought it was an ashtray.
And then you also have a lot of other one-dimensional characters that aren't even worth talking about.
Yeah, there's some skaters. There's also like
there's some kids and
there's a kid who like drinks in one of the parties and then gets stuck on a chairlift later. There's a pointless figure skating competition going on. I think just so they can film figure skaters. There's lots of actually like stuff that happened to be going on at the ski resort while they were filming it. They just filmed it to pad out the time.
Is that like the snowmobile?
Yeah, this was filmed at near Durango in Colorado. Like
Not too far from New Mexico.
Yes, in southwestern Colorado.
Okay.
So I think they just took advantage of whatever was happening at the resort.
Yeah.
So there's like a snowmobile contest that they filmed that takes up like 4 minutes, and then there's.
Did you get the feeling that they needed to make they didn't have quite enough story?
Yeah.
And they were like, oh, quick, let's just film this actual thing that's happening, and we'll kind of make it a 5-minute segment in the movie.
But all it does is pad out the time before the titular avalanche even happens.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's also like a downhill racing competition.
So it takes forever to get to what you just want to see, of course, which is like, analogous to waiting for the Titanic.
Yeah, there's a lot
to
of
hit the iceberg. You're just waiting for the action part, the disaster action part.
There's a lot of Mia Farrow moping around the ski resort, and she and Rock Hudson have no chemistry whatsoever.
Yep.
Shocker.
when it hits, when you finally get to the actual avalanche, you're going to see some pretty bad special effects.
Yeah, really bad compositing shots, really bad match shots, really funny match shots, actually. Like there's one where Robert Forster is looking through a telescope to look at the snowpack, and it's like one of the worst match shots I've ever seen in a movie.
You mentioned earlier the footage, like the actual stuff that was going on at the ski resort where they were filming and how they incorporated that in. They used some of those shots during the avalanche as well.
Yeah, they did.
Where people were not really reacting the way you would think, or even noticing well before the avalanche was on top of them.
All it did was just overlay, snow.
Bad effects.
Something over like the people, and you're
who were just like enjoying this.
Yeah, and you think they're supposed to be like swept away by the snow. And
that was really bad.
It's actually comically bad. We forgot to mention the biggest star of the movie, which is shaved styrofoam. Lots of shaved styrofoam standing in for snow. There's lots of scenes, especially in the first act, where there's zero continuity between like what the snow that's on the ground versus there's some shots where there's actually no snow at all.
Yeah. So there were a lot of production problems, meaning not very well executed production.
I read that Roger Corman cut the budget like right before they started filming.
Speaking of production woes, or production, I should say shortcuts, or whatever you want to call it, I don't know if it was laziness or just they were in such a hurry they weren't doing a good job in post, but things like the music being horribly used. Turned way down.
During the dinner scene, they have a big party for the launch of the ski resort, and everyone's discoing, but there's no music mixed into the soundtrack.
David is staring at Susan the way he stared at me.
Does that bother you?
No, it liberates me.
Which is actually how they film these scenes. Is they say action and you see people, but there's no music, and
they forgot to mix in the music
because they're shooting the dialogue too while they're dancing. You're not expecting to not hear the music in the final version.
Yeah, it's really funny.
It's pretty bad. Some great 70s. We should just comment on how well this captures the 70s.
Is there anything that say 70s more than white people in skiing?
No, not especially if it involves disco dancing.
Yeah. We were kids of the 70s and 80s. So there's something like kind of like warm and nostalgic about, the 70s look, the cheesy 70s sets. The ski resort itself just has this classic 70s look. There's shag carpeting, there's ugly wallpaper, ugly furniture. To like, kids at the party just kind of on their own because the parents are like getting drunk and partying. And so you see like some kids drinking on the balcony because, and they're not teenagers, they're like 9, 10.
I have a big ski family, or I had a big ski family growing up. So we did like Colorado trips sometimes, and I just remember the 70s. I have vivid memories of the 70s.
70s and skiing are kind of synonymous to me for some reason. I don't know why.
So separate from the Avalanche, there are these sort of resolutions, or these evolving stories, or resolution to stories involving these one-dimensional characters.
Actually, that's what's funny is there are no resolutions.
Well, there's no real resolution, but you're seeing this stupid drama, like the dumb drunk girl walking in on the skier,
and she freaks
and
out.
he's sleeping with some woman.
Her reaction is so over the top. It's really funny. 2 scenes later, she's making him breakfast and she's acting totally normal.
Sleep well?
But then she freaks out again.
Yeah.
And he like just coldly like shoves her outside.
Yeah. So
that's the 70s.
All that stuff sort of leads up to the Avalanche, and then the Avalanche. So there's the post-Avalanche aftermath shots, aftermath scenes.
But see, so the Blood Boat-esque first 2 acts does all this character setup.
And then the end of the second act is the Avalanche that takes you into the third act.
Yeah, so there's no resolution to anything that you're seeing in the first 2 acts.
Because and it doesn't matter, because there was no real good character development or story arcs.
And also what I think is funny is that Rock Hudson is the Murray Hamilton, basically, character. You know, he's not going to let anyone stop the opening of his new resort. But then the Avalanche just ends up being caused by a plane crash, not by capitalism or greed. So all of the setup in the first 2 acts with Rock Hudson was pointless. But then once the Avalanche hits in the third act, he becomes the hero rescuer, which is really bizarre. Yeah. It'd be like if Murray Hamilton then joined Quint on the Orca to hunt the shark instead of Chief Brody.
Did Rock Hudson, was his career winding down, or
I think he was a total has-been by this point.
By that point. About the movie makers.
Well, yeah, the director is Corey Allen. I think he was a Roger Corman staple. And he did a lot of TV. Tons of TV. Including
Star Trek The Next Generation. He did the pilot, Encounter at Farpoint, and then a few other episodes. What about the writers? Not that there was much writing going on.
There was I forget his name, there was a writer when the film had a larger budget, and then when Corey Allen was hired, he rewrote the script. And the original writer was like, he said that Corey Allen wrote the script, which is kind of funny. When the ambulance is driving through Durango, there's a movie theater, and on the marquee is Eat My Dust, which is a Roger Corman film. So there's a little nod to that on the marquee in the town.
Did this movie do well?
No, it was a huge flop. Low budget, but it still didn't recoup any of it.
Critics saying it was bad, and
I think by 78 the disaster craze had sort of like petered out, you know. And then like literally 2 years later, you've got Airplane, which spoofed, you know, the airport movies.
There's no reason to become alarmed, and we hope you enjoy the rest of your flight. By the way, is there anyone on board who knows how to fly a plane?
It's funny because it also times with like the end of disco.
It does, yeah.
So,
right. Yeah.
See, now I think I have to see a lot more disaster movies.
But it kind of got revived in the 90s, you know, 20 years later. Twister.
They always had competing movies for the same idea. Armageddon and Deep Impact were the same idea.
Then you have Volcano and Dante's Peak.
And Dante's Peak and Volcano. So that's where you
And I think what kicked it off was Independence Day, which is basically a disaster movie in sci-fi trappings.
Don't forget, much later, you also had like Titanic, which was a major blockbuster.
So the genre got revived in the 90s.
There's also one other thing to mention. What became really popular on like the Sci-Fi Channel?
Disaster movies?
Disasters. Think about how that was their bread and butter. But it became a joke, like Sharknado.
Yeah, you're right. They took it to like ridiculous extremes. Yeah.
For those, the point is, we are making this cheaply. We know it's going to be kind of easy to make fun of.
Yeah.
But who cares?
But who cares? We're doing it.
But what made the 70s special is that they were trying, you guys want to have a formula that's always going to work? Disaster movies.
Right.
Yeah.
A bunch of bland characters stuck in a disaster.
Yeah. Don't worry too much about the writing.
Do you think they were running out of disaster settings by the late 70s? Because Avalanche is kind of a stretch. The avalanche happens and you dig people out. That's why this movie is so interminably long before the avalanche happens, because once the avalanche happens, that's just it. You just dig people out.
Right.
Yeah, this movie also got the MST3K treatment in one of the Netflix revival seasons.
I can still do it. He's falling in slow-mo.
Go for it.
Thanks, I will. Oh, really? He fell in slow motion and they still couldn't get the net under him in time?
Hey, Chris?
Todd,
Chris!
I'm here.
God.
What is it about the 70s that made disaster movies, like what clicked with them? The distrust from our institutions because of Watergate and Vietnam, did that have anything to do with it?
It always seems less political and more about people wanting to see people in a horrible situation like that, but also hopefully prevail.
People in these are always like the 1%ers. Like people in Avalanche are all rich.
And the ones on
know?
some of the airport movies, you're
Yeah,
seeing
they're all like in first class.
a nice 747, lots of partying going on.
I
but
think
like,
there's like that's a mixture of middle class and wealthy in that one.
yeah, that's a good thing to think about though. Is like what made them so popular and like why? Do they still have Earthquake as a ride feature?
That was in Universal Studios for the longest time. Yeah, a movie that nobody has thought about for like 40 years.
Right. That I think it concludes as much as I can even say about the movie because I don't think there's enough substance there.
I think we've had an avalanche of things to say about this movie
I agree.
at this point.
I will say it did inspire me to check out more old 70s disaster films just for fun.
I think people should watch it. It's for free on YouTube. It's fun.
Yeah.
It's only an hour and 32 minutes. You know, it's cheap. It's cheesy. It's got that nice 70s nostalgia wrapped around it.
Yeah.
You know, like I said, the first two acts are a little bit interminable because you've got these bland characters, but, you know, it's got these 70s trappings, which makes it fun to watch.
Yeah.
Far out.
I give the movie an F.
Movies that I think are bad but are fun bad, I give Ds.
An F plus?
Actually, F plus is good for that, yeah.
F plus.
F plus movies are fun to watch.
But you're right. Like Phantom Menace is a D.
Right.
But
D minus.
D minus, but we enjoy.
I enjoy the hell out of that movie.
Yeah, because it's so
bad.
There's some funny things about how bad it is.
Let us know if you know what you think of 70s disaster movies, if we missed some, and you know maybe the genre should be revived again.
Yeah. Ah. The other thing is, let us know if you think there's some other disaster movies we should review,
Yeah.
whether they're from the 70s or another decade.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Well, thanks again. You know, we're gonna keep digging ourselves out of this storm, out of this avalanche.
Yeah, I gotta finish.
All right.
Oh shit! Chris!